Hello, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Manufacturing Tomorrow's Workforce. I'm your host, Amanda Del Buono. While industry continues to try and attract young people to the new digital positions that automation is opening up, attracting and retaining millennials and the generations to come is essential. How do we do this? First, it's about understanding their strengths and the ways they work in order to ensure that your company is ready for them. Recently, ABB published a white paper titled Attracting Generation G to 24/7 Control Rooms. The white paper discusses the benefits that the gaming generation can bring to control rooms in industry and the expectations that these young people have for their workforces. To further discuss this topic in the white paper, I'm speaking with the paper's author, Hampus Scharing, Digital Lead in Northern Europe of Industrial Automation at ABB. Thanks for joining us today, Hampus.
Thank you as well. I'm glad to be joining.
So when we published the white paper online, I read through it, and you wrote a lot about, Generation G and attracting them. Can you define what Generation G is for our listeners? Who's a part of it, and how are they unique compared to boomers or Generation X or millennials?
It's basically the millennials. So my definition of Generation G is the gaming generation. So they are born after the millennium. And what we can see for this generation, if you're familiar with the Malcolm Gladwell book Outliers, we can see that the millennials or the gaming generation have spent more than 10,000 hours on average in playing video games. So that's why I want to call the millennials the gaming generation as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that's a fact. As a millennial, I don't play video games, but I've grown up with everybody else does.
Yeah, so 10,000 hours, it equals a master's degree, so they have pretty much experience in playing video games. And I mean, if you spend 10,000 hours on something, you're truly becoming an expert in that area. So this generation are experts at playing video games. So we need to take care of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. And in the white paper, you note that it's 90% of school-age children in the United States, 70% of homeowners are using game consoles. How has this changed the way they're making career decisions? Is it changing the choices they're making or the industries they want to go in?
Definitely. I mean, playing video games, if you have that background, I think you're getting bored much faster as well. So I think you're looking for a job where you can get a lot of rewards and also acknowledgement. I mean, they are raised in a world of Instagram and Facebook where you're triggered by different likes and so on. So I think you're also searching for those triggers when you apply for a job as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think collaboration is key as well, and especially if we look into the control rooms environment, because if you end university and you start working in a control room, you have so many potential alarms that were not there 10 years ago as well. So you really need to understand that collaboration is a key in those environments. You need to help each other out, and I think the gaming generation appreciate the collaboration part of work as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. When I read it at first, it made me think about when my brother enlisted in the U.S. military several years ago. He's a gamer, and they sold him on tank driving because they told him, like, I mean, when you're inside, it's just like playing a video game, and that's how he got it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is really important as well. I mean, we have done some experiments here in Sweden as well, where we have a simulated paint factory in our 800XE system, and we can see that the gamers can make around 200 actions per minute, while a traditional, let's say, operator without any gaming experience is making an average of 60 actions per minute. So in terms of efficiency, it is a great difference. And then I usually get the comment that, it's not about the amount of actions per minute you're making, it's about making correct actions as well. And we can see that, I mean, if you've been exposed to a lot of action games, you are very skilled at making correct decisions, even in stressful situations.
Right. Well, you kind of went on this, they're much more efficient as far as how many things they can get done at once. But are there any other, ways that being gamers has impacted the way this generation works? Are they different in any other ways than previous ones? And I mean, I guess how can we best utilize them in control rooms and control facilities?
I think one of the things that we need to know is that they are getting bored much faster, and they are also more likely to change jobs faster as well. So I think we need to find ways on how we are maintaining them and keeping them in our environment. And I mean, traditionally in the control room, it is, and the more autonomous we are getting as well, I think we are going from, today it might be 99% boredom, and then you have this 1% which is pure panic. And we need to bridge that somehow as well, and make sure that they are always active in the control room. So it can be either that they are doing predictive maintenance, or that they have some sort of simulation and they can educate themselves in the meantime. But I think to have a screen where nothing really is going on is not good for this generation, because they don't have the patience that is required for that.
Right, yeah. We have to have something has to be going on all the time. Well, kind of on that, what kind of technology should these companies be implementing to get and keep these young people, and should they be investing in some more, modernized display systems, or what do you think? What do the young people want to be working with?
Yeah, I think, technology is getting way much cheaper today, especially in the industrial space. We see a lot of the products are derived from the consumer space. So today we can buy touchscreen devices, AR, and it's much cheaper as well. I mean, you can go to Best Buy and buy a drone, and you can evaluate it. And if it does not work good, then you throw it away, and you have not wasted a lot of money developing it from the beginning. So I think we should try and buy and implement more technologies as well to see how they can come to use. And I mean, I would also refer the Millennials as an iPad generation as well. So yeah, we should definitely bring more touchscreens into the control room environment as well.
And do you see, we are also used to like a kind of instant communication where, I text somebody or I contact them. Is real time, data coming through? Is that something that we are interested in, where we want, that immediate gratification?
Yeah. I think that is very important. And as we see also, control rooms are getting more consolidated. So sometimes you are moving the control rooms very far from the actual site. And I think that is also important to address, that those operators, what they do in front of their screens will have consequences. So we need to have some immersive telepresence, or where you can really see your colleagues and friends at the site in real time. So I think the telepresence part is really important as well, and that you also get somehow emotional presence to the people far away as well.
So, I mean, you kind of touched on this, but once a company gets a Generation G employee in the door, what do they need to be doing to retain that employee and keep them there?
I think, first of all, I think it's very important with acknowledgement, because they are used to that in private as well, and in gaming as well. And also we need to find a way to keep them active at all times. And I think one important thing that we have to consider is how we can gamify the environment a little bit. And if we look at games today, there is mainly a reward or a trophy system built into the games, and I think that is also important for the future control system, to have those kind of rewards. So if you are doing something good throughout the day, let's say you are doing predictive maintenance, then you get the reward for doing that as well. So I think we will see more of this competitive edge into the systems as well in the future to maintain this generation.
Right. And those rewards, they don't even have to be anything necessarily tangible. I mean, in the video game world, you get a trophy and it's just a little digital trophy, right? They aren't expecting a tangible reward, right?
No, and if it should be tangible, I mean, it can be just that you get the free lunch on Fridays or something. But I mean, it does not have to be very much. I think a trophy itself is good, and
Mm-hmm. So, just kind of closing it up, how do you think that companies who are looking to attract these young people should be showing their tech savvy to potential employees? What should they be doing to get these young people to see that we're, with it? We're all, digital, and we're ready for you to be here.
First of all, I think it's about modernization. We will be competing about the millennials as well. And I think the environment that they should be working in needs, first of all, to be an attractive environment as well. And then I think we can look at putting the right technology in space for them as well. And as I said before, I mean, technology is getting cheaper and cheaper from the consumer market. So I think it's a very cheap investment to ensure that we have the latest technologies there in sight, and also have a philosophy for the future on how we should maintain them, and not just buy technology, but also make sure that we make good use of it.
Right. Well, is there anything else you think our listeners should know or you'd like to add?
Yeah, I think we can also say that, I mean, a lot of people are worried about their kids playing a lot of video games, and I think they don't need to be that worried, because I think it has some positive effects to it as well. And I can also once again emphasize the amount of actions per minute they are doing. I mean, that's a great difference. So I would really encourage people to not be worried and maybe buy their kids or grandkids PlayStations and Xbox for Christmas. I mean, that's not really a bad idea either. So. And it boosts creativity from what I have understood as well. It's good.
Well, parents always thought they were bad, and it turns out it's getting kids ready for their next career. So, good.
Yeah, and we should really try to get them to work for us. I had last week I had a young guy who is a team leader in Overwatch working here for me, and he did a great work in how we should attract him and his generation for the next when they are applying for job. So I think we should really listen to them, because we will eventually need them as well. We have a huge portion of people retiring within the next 10 years, so we need to fill that gap somehow, and that gap will be the millennials. So we will need to solve those issues as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us and telling us more about this. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed the white paper, so I'm sure our listeners will as well.
Yeah, thank you as well, Amanda. I appreciate being a part of this podcast.
Thanks again for joining us today. Don't forget to add Manufacturing Tomorrow's Workforce to your podcast library and keep up with the latest episodes.